You should all get a notice that says class is being recorded and you can accept to continue. So that will be uploaded to the Michaels Stores YouTube channel in about 24 hours, and then appear on the michaels.com classes website also around that same time. You could consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. That way you don't ever miss a class when it's uploaded. If you are making along with our instructor today, don't forget to tag Michaels with your hashtags, Make It With Michaels and hashtag Michaels Classes. Then when you're sharing pictures on social media. Also, just know during class, you can interact with the instructor and moderators using the Zoom chat function. If you don't see the chat during class, or if you don't want to see it during class, you can turn it off in Zoom settings. We do also have closed captioning, automatic closed captioning enabled for this meeting. And you can turn those on or off in your settings under the 3 dots and click more with meeting settings and then toggling on that closed captioning option. If you have any technical issues during your class, message me directly. My name is Kristen and I can assist you there. So with all of that being said, we're going to turn our time back over to our instructor who's going to walk us through class today. So let me spotlight her and she can get started.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another class with Singer Sewing Company. My name is Bethany. I'm an education support specialist with Singer, and I'm so excited to be back doing another project with you all. It's been a little while since we've done a project, so we're ready to tackle and do something fun today. Real quick, I wanted to let you know, as Kristen mentioned, we do have a chat. We would love for you to engage with us in the chat. I know that we're virtual, but we are sewing together, and it's so much more fun to sew along with friends. So we really would love for you to kind of comment, ask questions. Don't be shy. Let us know anything you want to know about in the chat. We'll be happy to help. I have 3 people behind the scenes with me today as well. I have Sonny Grant, who will be helping out in the chat with sewing related questions. I have Amy McMullen, who will be helping out with sewing related questions as well. She's here in the studio. And then I have Amy Mulraney, who's going to be helping with products. So if you have questions about the machine we're using and supplies we're using, anything like that, anything in the background, just let us know. And she can drop links to that and other content we've done as well to help you guys out. So they're here in the studio. If it's something that I need to address, repeat, show up close, they'll let me know. We'll kind of chat with them. But we would love to know, starting out, where you're sewing from or where you're watching from. Some of you may just be tuning in to watch to sew this later. Some of you may be joining to sew along with us today. So let us know where you're watching from. I'm in Nashville at our headquarters in our studio today. So again, we're excited to have you. As Kristen mentioned, we do have some hashtags for you to use, and Singer also has one, hashtag Singer Sewing. So if you do share those finished projects, then please use those so we can see them as well. We'd love to see your finished projects. All right, so today we are making our beach towel, our applique beach towel, which is so cute. And we're going to put little ties on it. And these little ties will help keep your towel on your lounge or chair or whatever by the pool or on the beach in place while you're in soaking of the sun. Summertime's my favorite. So I had to do a fun beach towel. Now I came up with an idea of doing a beach towel because one, applique is such a fun way to decorate things. We've done several projects with Michael doing applique. And also my mom made me a beach towel when I was little. I don't know how old I was, but I've had that beach towel for at least 30 years. And it has applique on it with my name and the sunglasses, and the towel has seen better days, but the applique has held up really, really well over the years because she appliqued it the right way. So today we're going to teach you how to applique the right way, using the right stabilizers and the stitches and everything so that your applique will last just as long, maybe longer than your towel itself. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. Now, if you didn't make it to our last class, it was a how to applique class, and that was in April. So after this class, not right now, but after the class, go back to Michael's YouTube channel, as Kristen was mentioning earlier, and search for our applique, how to applique class. So this will give you a ton of information on the techniques that you need to have to and understand to be able to do projects like this. In that class, we talked about how to applique on woven fabrics knit and stretchy fabrics, and also terry cloth and towels like this. And there's different techniques that you need for each type of fabric, and definitely different types of stabilizers that you need as well. We're going to use a few of those today, but if you missed that class and you really want to amp up your skills in applique, I definitely recommend going back and watching that recording. It'll give you a lot of information. But for today, we're making a beach towel. And so I'm going to go right here to this camera. You should have the instructions. If you didn't print them out, that's fine. Just maybe get a piece of paper and a pen and have that handy to take notes on. But we are going to be walking through these steps today to create this beach towel. Also with the instructions, you will get 2 templates for our design. Now, don't laugh at these. These are hand drawn by myself. If you don't like them, it's not going to hurt my feelings. You can draw or cut out your own flower shape, but I wanted one that we kind of droop down like that. So I had to draw my own, and I've got leaves and everything. So if you were sewing along with us, you should already have those pieces cut out. And I did that. And then the other step that we're going to do, you should already have done, is have all of your pieces cut out in the fabric using the liner on the back. This is a paper-backed double-sided adhesive. A popular brand name is Heat and Bond. This is sold at Michael's. And basically it's a paper on one side, you see here, and the other side is sticky and shiny. And that's the roughs of kind of a bumpy side. It's not sticky yet, but that will be the adhered side. So what I did, in case you haven't prepped yours yet, is I would trace my pattern piece onto the paper side, and then we cut out that square, and I would press it to the back of my green fabric. You want to press it to the wrong side. And then once I had pressed it, I went through and cut out around my shape here. So I did that for all of my pieces and the colors of the fabrics that I wanted to use. So now that we have all of our pieces prepped and ready to go, we can start laying out our design on our towel, okay? So I'm going to set some of this other stuff aside for just a minute. Don't want to lose any of my little pieces here. And I'm going to get our beach towel. I am using a big beach towel today, so let's hope we can get it all in screen. If for some reason it gets out of the screen, please let me know and I will shift it around. The towel is definitely bigger than the screen. All right. Now, when we're doing our beach towel, and I'm sure you guys know this, but looking at the beach towel, you see these little loops. That's what makes it a terry cloth, what makes it so soft and plush. And those can kind of be hard to sew sometimes. Your needles can get caught on this. So we're going to talk about ways to prevent that from happening. We're going to do special stabilizers today, and we're also going to use a specific type of needle, which is a ballpoint needle. A universal needle is a semi-ballpoint needle, so you might be able to get away with using that, but I highly recommend a ballpoint needle for sewing terry cloth to help getting through these loops and not getting caught on them, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to start by just laying out our design. I'm just going to kind of jump right in. And we're not sticking anything down yet. I do have my iron heating up, but I'm not sticking anything down because I'm just trying to get a good layout for our flower. And this can go anywhere you want on the towel, but I'm going to replicate what I had created in the picture originally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get an idea of where I want my flower to go. And then we're going to take our rickrack, and I'm using a really big rickrack, and I'm going to pin it down to create the stem. And we're going to sew that stem on before we do press any of this down, but it helps to kind of have an idea of where this is before we put our stem on. So let's get that pinned down in a couple of places. Now I will say my rickrack was kind of curly and like all the edges were curled up and it was frustrating to work with this morning. So I quickly ran it under the iron and pressed it, and it really helped it lay flat. So it'll be easier to sew as we sew it down to the towel. Now we are not using any stabilizer for the stem. We are just going to attach that directly on. As long as you guys can see, I'll scoot this up a little bit. Did anybody say where they were watching from?
Just sunny in Nashville.
Oh, sunny in Nashville. All right, so I'm going to get down to the end. Now at the end, I am going to leave a little bit of extra, about an inch or so, off the edge here. And I'm going to fold that up underneath. Make that trim some of it off. And I'm just going to put a clip here, a clip, or you could pin it in place. There we go. Can you guys see that? So we've got it pinned or clipped at the end, and it does fold over. And we are going to give that now, as you can see here at the top, these pieces, bric rack can fray. Just know that if you want to prevent it from fraying, I highly recommend using some sort of sealant on the end, fray check or something like that will help it not fray so bad. So you can do that at the beginning and at the end. This part right here is going to get covered up with our flower, but it helps to prevent it from continuing to do that. We can do that at the end if we want, but we have our whole stem on our towel. It doesn't all fit in the screen, but it's there. And we are going to sew this on real quick. So I'm going to move all of our flower pieces and leaves to the side, but we're going to start at the end down here by the edge of the towel, and we are going to sew all the way up and around. We are going to do a zigzag stitch. Okay, so let's go over to our machine and get this towel. Now, first we need to do is set up our machine. So today we're sewing on the heavy duty 6700C. This is a computerized machine. I will turn it towards you so you can see it better. Today for this project, we are mostly going to be using an open toe foot, which is what I have on the machine right now. This is just a metal one. It looks very similar to this. This is a plastic one. So you could use either one, but we're going to use the metal one today. I already have my machine threaded with a green bobbin and a green thread that matches pretty close to my rickrack. We are going to be changing our thread quite a bit today, so that'll be fun. When it comes to thread for today, we're going to be using what's called a rayon thread, which is really shiny, and it really gives your applique a nice finished, really polished look when you're sewing. So I do recommend using a rayon thread, but it is not necessary, it's not required, but do make sure that whatever colors you choose, that you have a bobbin ready to go with the same thread, okay? And I have all of my threads and my bobbins off to the side, so we'll be switching those out. Today is all about the zigzag stitch. So we are going to be using the zigzag stitch for this entire project, but we are going to be adjusting our settings on the zigzag stitch. So first we're going to start out with a zigzag stitch with a stitch length of 5 and stitch width of 5 and a stitch length of 3 to sew on our rickrack. And I am going to scoot some things out of the way for just a minute, so I have room for the towel. I'm trying to keep the towel out of y'all's way so you can see, but it is big. It is a beach towel. And we are going to start at this end. I'm going to move my clip. Now, when you start sewing, you do want to make sure you do a couple of back stitches to secure it in place. And you may have to, as you go around, you may have to kind of move your fabric So you may have to kind of lift your needle and turn your foot. And this does take a little time, but we are going to get all the way up and over on our stem. See, we have some new people joining us. We're so happy you're here. We just got started on our project. We are making our applique beach towel today. It is time for beach weather. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to the beach in a month and a half, I think. We're going in August, and I cannot wait. I guess it's 2 months away. I wish it was sooner. I'm ready for some beach weather. And I'm going to take this cute towel with me. So besides a flower, I'm sure you guys have some ideas of other things you could applique onto a beach towel. So if you have some ideas of things that you would like to applique on a beach towel, let us know in the chat, and then Amy can let me know what some of your fun ideas are. Like I said before, my mom made one that had my name on it with some cute sunglasses, and I absolutely loved that towel growing up. I took it to the pool with all my friends all the time. Any questions?
Not any yet, but we also have Brenda from Ontario, excuse me, I couldn't talk, that has joined us.
Awesome. Hi, Brenda. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Let us know if you have any questions in the chat. We're happy to answer them. Like I said, we just got started. We haven't even started the applique yet. We are just stitching down the stem for the flower, which just takes a little, back and forth to get up the stem here.
We did have a question about what machine you were sewing on.
Okay, so I am sewing on the Singer heavy duty sewing machine. It's a 6700. It's a computerized sewing machine, and it is available at Michael's. I really like our computerized machines, especially for doing some intricate stuff like this. And when we're doing the applique and we're setting our stitches really close together, it's really nice to be able to do that on a computerized machine, which I'll show you in a little bit.
And Bethany, can you tell them again what stitch length and what you're using for the zigzag stitch?
So for the zigzag stitch that I'm doing right now on the Rick Rack, it's a stitch width of 5, which we're pretty much going to stay at a stitch width of 5 all day for this project. And the stitch length I'm doing at 3 millimeters. That's totally up to you. I didn't need a really tight stitch for this. I kind of want the edges to be playful and loose a little bit. That's what we're doing. We're starting with right now is a stitch length of 3. And when we were talking about the computerized machine, adjusting those stitches, you can get a lot more precise with it with a computerized machine, which is one of the reasons why I really like it when doing applique. Be sure you're taking your pins out as you go. Don't sew over your pins. It's a really good way to break a needle, and we do not want to do that. There we go. We're almost done. This is also a good opportunity on the stem to use what's called like a variegated thread. So the thread I'm using is a variety of shades of green, which I'll show you in a minute when I take it off of the machine. But it adds just another way to kind of be playful with this project. I think this would also be fun to use like maybe a sparkly thread or something like that to add some sparkle to it, especially when the towel's out in the sun by the pool. Now you'll see here as I'm pivoting the fabric back and forth, I'm leaving the needle in the down position before I lift my foot. That way I don't lose my spot. And then once I turn the fabric, I put the foot back down and we continue sewing. Put the needle down, lift the foot, pivot again. Yeah, we're almost done. Now, if you're sewing along with us, let us know if we're going too fast. We are going to try to get the whole project done in the hour. You need to stop and wait till we're done, and then watch the replay when it's on Michael's YouTube tomorrow. You can definitely do that. I'm going to do a couple of back stitches at the end. And then I'm going to lift my foot and we're going to trim our threads.
Stephanie, is there a needle down function on the machine you are using?
Yes, there is. Let me get this out from under here and then I will show you.
And is that available on the mechanical machine?
It is not.
Okay.
Okay. So let me set this aside. On this machine, on the 6700C, which is our heavy duty computerized machine that's available through Michael's, it does have a needle up down button. And if you push it, the needle goes down. If you push it, the needle goes back up. And you saw it shift over. That's because I still have it set to a zigzag stitch. Now, earlier I was talking about how you can get really precise stitches with a zigzag for your satin stitch, for your applique, using a computerized machine because you can adjust the stitch length and width right here. With just a button, and it counts down, and it can go, this one goes all the way down to 0.3 millimeters, and the width goes up to 7. But today we're going to leave it set to 5, and we're going to be dropping it in a minute anyways, but we're going to be setting our stitch length very, very short. Because we're going to be creating what's called a satin stitch. So we're going to keep it wide at 5 millimeters, but our stitch length is going to be much shorter. So let's go over to our overhead real quick. And where is it? This house. All right. So we have our stem sewn on. I'm just going to trim some threads. There we go. So that turned out really cute. Nice and easy. Easy part right here. So the next thing we're going to do is start placing our pieces. And you can choose any colors you want, but we're going to get these placed. Now, remember how we put that backing on it that was adhesive and we adhered it to the pieces and then cut them out? Well, now that we have them cut out, we want to take the backing off, this paper backing off, and you see how it's nice and shiny? This is adhesive as well. It's double-sided adhesive, and we're going to use that, and we're going to put it down and press it. So I've got my iron here, and I am just going to press this down. Now, this is our Steamcraft iron. It is available at Michael's. I love this fun mint color. This is a great iron. It's got the buttons for the settings, makes it really easy. It does have steam. There we go. So this is adhered on there. It doesn't take a whole lot. And then we're going to lay down our other pieces. Pull the backs off of these. And it's okay if they overlap a little bit. We're going to be stitching around them. You won't even be able to tell. Now, obviously, doing this is optional, but it does help your pieces stay down on your fabric better. And you could, if you didn't want to do the double-sided adhesive, you could just pin these down. But again, there's more room for movement if you do that. I prefer to stick them down. Got them all stuck on there really well. Now we don't have to worry about sewing over pins or anything. All right. So see, that's on there pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do now that we've got the flower in place is I'm going to move this up, and we are going to place the leaves wherever you want them to go. We've got 2. You can cut out more if you like. It's totally up to you. So I think I'm going to do one going up and one coming down. And I kind of want them to touch the stem. Can you guys see that? Maybe I'll move them down. I'm being indecisive today. There. Does that look okay? Amy, what do you think?
Great.
Looks cute?
Yes.
Okay. I needed someone to say, yeah, that's great.
Beautiful.
This is why it's so much better to sew with friends. For when you're being indecisive. There you go. Now, Amy, if you haven't linked this iron in the chat yet, you definitely need to. This is one of my favorites. It gets so hot. And one thing I really like about it is this point right here. So when you're sewing, if you're doing any type of quilting or garment sewing or even if you're just trying to get a square corner for a bag or a pillow, it really makes it so much easier to get in that corner. There we go. All right, so we are pressed on pretty good. All right, so I'm going to flip this whole towel over. You can see my zigzag from my stem. Trim my thread here. The next thing we're going to do is the stabilizer. This is the critical part that you need to have in place before you start appliquing. This is what's going to make your applique last. Okay, so we're going to use 2 different types of stabilizers. The first one that we're going to use today is a tearaway stabilizer. The one that I'm using has got a sticky back. So there's tearaway stabilizers that's not sticky, and then there's tearaways that have a sticky back to them. We'll just peel the paper off and stick it on. I like the sticky for the terry cloth. Again, the less pins I have to pin in here, the better. I'm going to cut a big piece. And the sticky tearaway stabilizer is going to go onto the back side of the towel behind our design. And you want to make sure that it's completely behind the design. I think I cut it a little big, but that's okay. Better to be too big than not big enough. That'll work. Let me trim this out. I'm just going to peel this paper backing off like that and throw it in the floor. I don't have a trash can over here.
That's what we all do in our sewing room.
It might, you know, I've gotten better since we made the 3-in-1 thread catchers, which I brought to every class now, which is this little guy right here. I always have it sitting next to me here. But I'm doing better about not throwing threads in the floor, and they're not ending up on me, but other stuff, bigger stuff still ends up all over the place. All right, so this is behind my flower. And then I also want to cut 2 more pieces to go behind the leaves. We can't forget about the leaves. Okay, the little leaves on the stem. And then let's find them. All right, there's one up there. Since they aren't stitched down, they're a little harder to find. But once you find it, let's stick that on. And this is sticky, but it will tear off, okay? So we just need it for while we're sewing. When we're done, we will be removing it. Hardest part is always for me getting the sticky part started. Here's the other one. All right, so we've got a stabilizer on the back. So now we're gonna flip it back over and we're gonna use one more stabilizer. Do we have a question?
Yes. Can you tell us why we need to use a stabilizer?
It is gonna help protect our stitches and help them last longer. We are gonna be doing stitches that are real close together all the way around. And when you're sewing back and forth that much through a fabric, it can wear away the fabric. This is gonna help that stay and last. And then when we tear it off, just where our stitches are, this tearaway is gonna stay inside that stitch to give it strength and stability to help it last longer. Does that help answer that?
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. So the other stabilizer we're gonna use today is a clear water soluble. And I know that sounds crazy. I'm gonna move this iron out of the way. I don't want to touch it. Got a big piece of it here, but this is clear. It's got like a texture on one side, it's smooth on the top. And we're going to put this on the front of our project. And by doing that, we're helping. This is really important when sewing with this terry. This is a fabric that's going to be getting wet, going to be getting used a lot by the pool, at the beach, getting washed. And so this will help protect it. But yes, it's shiny right now, but this will all wash away. But it's also going to help when we're sewing through these little loops that we talked about earlier. All these little loops, it's going to help our needles not get stuck in that as well. So we're going to cut a big piece here. Now they do make a clear water soluble stabilizer that is sticky, just like our tearaway that we just stuck onto the back. So if you wanted to use that, you can, and then you don't have to pin it down. But today we're going to use this and it does not stick on. So we will be pinning it down into place. Okay. And I just cut one big piece instead of a bunch of little pieces. And we're going to pin that down real quick. Now, if you missed our, like I said before, if you missed our class on how to applique, we definitely went into more detail on stabilizers for different materials in that class. I highly, highly recommend going back and watching that video before you start doing a bunch of applique projects. I know from experience, I have bought clothes that have been monogrammed and the company didn't use the right stabilizer, and I washed it, and then my monogram was curled up in on my pocket, and my shirt just looked awful, and there's no fixing that. And so I definitely recommend taking the time to learn the right way to applique before you start doing it. But it is so fun, and once you know the different stabilizers and everything, like we talked about before, it'll make it so much easier, and you'll have like beautiful applique projects. And we've done quite a few applique projects here with Michaels over the last year. I know we did some fun little ghost shirts at Halloween last year. Did a whole applique project then. I think last July we did some Christmas in July stuff. So much fun. All right, so we're just going to kind of pin it down a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want it to move around a whole lot. There we go. It should be good to go. Let me stick one more over there. All right. So now that we have our stabilizer, our clear water soluble stabilizer on top, and we have our tearaway on the back, we are ready to start appliquing. They're actually sewing down this material, and we're going to use a satin stitch. All right, so I'm going to come back over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to swap out my thread. This is that variegated green thread I was telling you about earlier. This is not a rayon, but it's really fun. But it has different shades of green, so that's what I chose to use.
Can you tell me what weight thread that is, Stephanie?
This one is it's a 12 weight. Okay. It's a heavier one, which worked great for getting through that thicker rickrack. All right, so the one I'm going to start with is going to be our yellow. Let me get this threaded real quick for you guys and we'll get started. That automatic needle threader definitely makes it so much faster to thread your machine. And I already have my bobbin. So my bobbin got tangled. There it goes. All right, so we are ready to go. I am going to lower my stitch length down to 0.4. And real quick, before we dive into this, easier to kind of explain it when you can see the whole thing. When you're sewing on applique, you kind of want to think about your approach to which piece you're going to do first, especially if they're touching. In the instructions, it says to start with the pink one. You can. Today, I'm going to show you a different approach. So I'm going to start with the yellow one, and we're going to start at this corner and sew all the way around to here. And then I'm going to do the orange one and do the same thing to here. And then I'm going to do the pink one all the way around. So these colors will bump up to that pink one. And then I will do the green last because that'll go all the way across the top and over. And then we'll do the leaves. So this part, we're going to start with the yellow. Any questions?
Do you have to use a zigzag stitch when you're appliquing?
Technically, no. But the standard applique that you are looking for is going to be a satin stitch. So typically with an applique, you are going to want a satin stitch. You're going to want more stitches around that fabric to help it stay on and last longer. I've done some projects in the past where I wanted the fabric to kind of stand up off the fabric a little, the piece I was appliquing down to stand up off of it a little. So I did a really wide, longer length stitch zigzag to go back and forth. But I still think a zigzag is preferred to getting around and creating that clean applique. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, so let's go over to our machine.
And are you using a different needle when you're sewing with the 12 weight thread?
I did not. I just left the ballpoint needle in that I set in there for our class today. But it worked just fine. We were just zigzagging. We didn't have a whole lot to sew.
And they may need to know that if it doesn't feed real well through it, you can always switch to a top stitch needle if you need to, depending on your machine.
This is very true. Thank you, Amy. Move that out. I've got a lot of material to get through here, so let's get all the way up and around. I think I'm going to start on this side here. Now, when you are appliquing, and I'm going to do my best to get you guys as close as possible, but when you are appliquing, you want to make sure that the zigzag stitch gets mostly on your fabric and then just catches the towel along the edge. You want more of the stitch on the fabric. Again, that's going to help the fabric last longer and your stitches last longer. So instead of lining up this thread down the middle of our foot, we kind of want it to be closer to the right side of our foot, the edge, not all the way up against it. We still want to catch the fabric that we're sewing it on, but that is where we're going to start. Right here. All right, and I've got my zigzag stitch set in place. I'm gonna drop my needle, find my foot. There we go, and I'm gonna do a couple of back stitches. And as I get going, you'll be able to see, I'm gonna trim this out of the way. You'll be able to see how tight the stitch is. Now, as I go around a curve, one thing I recommend is whichever side the fabric, the edge is on your fabric is closest to that, that's the side that you want your needle down on. And then you can lift your foot, pivot the fabric, and then put it back down. So when you're going around a curve, You want to make sure that you don't end up with gaps in your stitches as you move the fabric around the curves. Sometimes you're going to have to stop and pivot your material. And it's easier to stop and pivot than try to shift it with this. It's like a plasticky kind of feeling of this clear water soluble, and it does make it a little hard to shift the fabric. It's slippery. And you probably won't hear it on camera today, but in person, there's a little bit of a pop more stitching because of the plasticky, that stabilizer that we're using. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera, trying to not hit it with my elbow. Take your time. One of the things I love about our Singer machines is they have this, especially this computerized one, it has a speed control here. So I can really control the speed here, not just with my foot control. So I can put it all the way up and not go too fast. But if you want to prevent yourself from going too fast, you can slow this down. And that's really helpful. Especially when you're sewing around things that are really intricate. These stitches are going to be very visible in your finished project. So you want to make sure that they look really nice. And I don't know if you can see yet, it's probably hard to catch on camera, but see how tight and close my stitches are? That is the look that we're going for. That's what's called a satin stitch. Now I didn't go to the shortest stitch length that this machine does have, because we are sewing on a thicker material. And I do want it to feed through the machine nicely. You can play around with the stitch length on your machine to get the look that you want. If this is your first time doing an applique project, I would recommend playing around with the stitch lengths on scrap material first before you decide which look you want to go for. And then when you find what you like, you can set it to that setting and use that. I know my hands are all in here, but I'm trying to hold down their clear water soluble stabilizer. All right, so now that I'm at the end, I'm going to do a couple of back stitches. And we're going to change out our thread from the yellow to the orange. Any questions? I'm going to show this to you up close in just a second.
Not any right now. I think they love it though.
Okay, good. Do not hesitate to ask questions. I'm happy to answer them. Get this out of the way. All right, I'm gonna let you guys see this up close. Whoop, that was really close. I hit the camera with it. But you can see how clean and pretty that looks all the way around there. And I'm going to swap out the thread real quick. And we're gonna do the orange one next. You can tell my thread traveled with me. It's a mess today. Again, I'm still using the rayon thread. I love that like shiny kind of polished finished look that it creates. And I just lost my scissors. There we go. Well, let's swap out the bobbin. with orange. Now I am swapping out the color to make sure that the bobbin always matches my top thread. And it's very important on projects like this because when you're doing a satin stitch, sometimes that bobbin can kind of pull up through to the front, and you don't want to see a different color on pull up to the front. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so let's get this back in here. Any questions about this before I go back over to the machine?
No, but Sonny did have a comment and said it might be fun to use contrasting threads for stitching as well.
Oh, yes. So instead of doing the yellow on the yellow, we could have done orange here and pink here and yellow here, and that would have added some contrast for sure. That's a good idea. All right.
And then someone else just asked, do you not recommend using a blanket stitch for this type of applique?
I'm not sure what.
So a blanket stitch is
what they're referencing, sorry.
No, it's fine. A blanket stitch is one that will kind of tack over, which you could technically, yes, use for this type of applique. But I would say with the salt water, maybe chlorine coming in contact, I
think the heavier stitch is going to help something like this last a lot longer.
I agree.
And that's our ultimate goal, is to make it last. And especially with something that, like you said, it's going to come into contact with the chlorine. It's going to get washed a lot. It's going to get thrown around at the beach or the pool. So yeah, that's kind of why we went with this approach. But I think there's definitely alternatives that you can choose. We're going to stick with the same satin stitch that the same stitch settings that we've had. Work our way around the orange, and I'm going to go as quickly as I can. Keep asking questions if you have them. And if you're still thinking about other applique designs that you would think would be fun to put on a beach towel, let us know. You might inspire someone else in the chat, or even me to make another one with your design. My thread broke. I think I went too fast. I have a tendency to do that sometimes.
We all do.
I like this so fast. All of my machines are set at the fastest speed. It's just, but that's also kind of how I drive. So the need for speed.
We have some fun ideas.
Oh, let's hear the fun ideas while I fix this.
We've seen a bucket or beach ball.
Yes.
We thought maybe like a rainbow with a sun peeking out. Yeah.
So are y'all hearing, can they hear those suggestions? I'm not sure. So they said a bucket, like, and beach ball. Maybe even some toys, like the beach toys to make a sandcastle would be cute. What else did you say? A sandcastle would be cute. Think like a little lobster or crab or something would be really cute too.
Maybe a mermaid.
A mermaid.
You're just full of ideas.
A pirate.
Oh, cute. A pirate would be great.
Even doing like initials, to monogram. That's what my mom did on my beach towel. She put my whole name, all 7 letters, appliqued across there, and with some little sunglasses, and it was really cute. If you want to see that beach towel, I did bring it for our last how to applique class, and I did show it in that tutorial, that class. So you can, when you go back and watch that, you'll see it. I did not bring it today. I put it back in its safe place in the closet, and I kind of forgot. It's one that we don't use. It's just a keepsake at this point. My mom sewed a lot of things for me growing up, but that one I still have. and a few of the dresses and clothes.
That's what we all aspire for, someone to keep it forever.
Yes. I mean, you work so hard on projects, you want them to stick around. She made some really sweet baby quilts for my son when he was born, and I still have all of those. She was excited to have someone little to sew for again.
Yeah.
You know, as I'm thinking about it, she also made all of like the bumpers that go around his crib, and she had appliqued little turtles on them.
Cute.
So yeah. And then I think she appliqued the same turtles on the curtains for his room. She just went all out. He had a turtle themed baby room. It was really cute. All right, we're almost done with the orange. All right. Ooh, that needle, that pin got me. You got to be careful when you're grabbing this. We've got all of the stabilizer pinned down, and I just poked myself. Did not feel good. All right, so I'll switch back over to this camera. Try not to bump it this time. And now you can see the orange and how cute that came out. Now I'm thinking of other ones I need to make before our beach trip. I may be going to buy more beach towels. They're just such fun, quick projects, and they would make wonderful gifts. So if you have someone who has a birthday in the summer, this would be perfect. Or someone who's getting married, that would be cute.
It's also a great way to keep them from losing their beach towel.
Yes.
Or maybe someone else picking up their beach towel.
Yes. I think we've ended up with beach towels at friends' houses that we've never seen again. And it just happens. All right, so now that I've got orange on here, I'm gonna trim the thread before I had to rethread. I like to trim as I go. Now we're going to do this pink part right here. So we're making progress. I know this isn't, I'm doing the same thing kind of over and over, but I might run into issues like my thread breaking, and that might inspire you to ask a question or something. Let's see here. We're going to start at this end. I will say this project will teach you about managing fabric because there's a lot of material when sewing this beach towel. You have to kind of keep in check, make sure it's not folded up underneath. Make sure it's not like, you want to make sure there's no fabric stuck up underneath what you're sewing, so you don't sew the front and the backs together. That would not be good. All right, so control again. Keep going.
Bethany, do you wash your towels before you applique on them?
Typically, I wash all my materials before I sew with them. Did I do that with this towel today? Absolutely not. I took the tags off this morning. But typically, you want to wash your materials before you sew. Now, these materials were washed. These were from my own stash. So as soon as I buy materials, the first thing I do is I wash them. So I always know that they've been washed, even if it's something I'm not going to use for a little while. But yeah, you definitely want to wash everything. Because that way, if it were to shrink up and you already have this on there, it's not going to look very pretty or sit very flat. All right, so this time, as you can see, I'm going between the pink and the orange. I'm keeping most of my pink on the pink fabric, but it is tacking into the orange a little bit. So we're hiding that raw edge of the fabric. securing them down together. Now I just sewed past this orange stitch where it stopped, and I caught the end of it so that it's hidden in with the pink, so you don't even see that that end of the stitch. Keep poking myself with that one needle, so I'm just going to take it out. Now this clear water soluble stabilizer here, if it gets wrinkled or whatever, that's okay. Don't worry about that. It is going to go away when we're done with it. You won't even see it. When I drew this flower, I specifically made them like bigger loops so they'd be easier to sew around. Now I'm approaching the yellow that I had finished earlier. And I'm catching the end of that thread as I come around, so it blends in with this pink. We want to make sure that we have our material comfortably under our machine so we can control where it goes. We're almost done. There we go. So we've got the pink, we've got all of our petals done. And all we have left is the green, and we'll be done. I can get my threads. Where are they? There we go. All right, so we have our orange, our pink, and our yellow all sewn through really nicely. And now all we have left is this green and our leaves. I'll probably get the green done real quick with you guys and then let you guys do the leaves on your own time. It's the same process. But for sake of time, I'm gonna just do the green across the top so we can get the flower done and you can see what it looks like and how to remove the stabilizer for those. Let's get that done real quick. Any new questions?
No new questions. They were just wondering about, they said it looks awesome.
Thank you.
And we have not changed our stitch width or length at all.
No, we're using the same satin stitch settings that we started with when we started with the yellow. So we are not changing any of our stitch settings for the rest of this project. Now, one thing I think would be really cute to do is when you're done with all of this, and including the leaves, is to pick a decorative stitch on your machine to do down like the middle of the leaves to make it look more like a leaf, or you can do some stitches down the center or off to the side, whatever you want to do. But I think that would be fun to give the leaf a little more character. All right, so now we're going to sew this green top part. So let's go back to our machine. Definitely wanted to get the flower done with you guys today so you could see how the stabilizer comes off and how it looks all finished. I'm going to start at one end. And we'll go just up and around this one little hump here, and then we'll go over the stabilizer. This is also going to secure down, like hide the end of our rickrack for our stem at the across that top. As we go across here. As I go over this bulkier part with that rickrack, I take my time and go slow. Doing this top part last is going to hide all of the stitches where the starting and ending stitches for the other petals. So that's why sometimes the order that you applique in really does matter. So I'm going to stop on the right side. Actually, I'm going to do a couple more stitches. And I'm going to feed all of this through. And pivot this all the way around. We're going to come back across the top, and this is going to hide all of the this top stitches across the top of the petals where they end. We're almost done with our flower. There we go. Let's go to the overhead and we'll look at what our finished flower. I can get all of this out from under here. It is a lot of material to work with. So maybe starting with a hand towel your first time might be easier than a big beach towel. All right, so here we have our finished flower, and we've got all of our stitches around it. And what we would do now is pull this, if we want, to get some of this extra off, or you can use scissors. I'm actually going to leave it because I am going to finish my petals here later. but you can clip around this if you want, and then you would just take like a wash rag and some water and just kind of dampen it, and it'll make all of this disappear. It's really fun. The kids like to help with this part. So this is a fun step, but it'll all disappear, but it'll leave it in here with your stitches, keeping them nice and secure and will last longer. For the back side, for our sticky tear away, this actually just like it says, tears away. Like that. And you can choose to tear it away in here, or you can wait until it gets washed and it'll start to come out on its own. But if you want to get that started with some scissors, you can and peel it off from the inside here as well, but it doesn't matter. So that's how our tearaway stabilizer works for all of our threads. The last thing I wanted to show you guys real quick is these little rickracs right here. So this rickrack is a smaller rickrack than the big, much smaller. And I chose this to use for the tie down. So this is an optional step you'll see in the instructions. But basically what we'll do is we'll find the center of our rickrack. I like to just do a little finger press to find the center. And then I'm going to, on the back side here, let's see here, just pin it down. And then you can do a quick zigzag. Again, we're doing the zigzag stitch back and forth here, and do these across the top and at the center of your towel, and you will have little tie downs. Very simple, very easy. I know we're out of time, so I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. But do we have any more questions or suggestions?
I don't think so.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm sorry we didn't get through the whole project today. I know it's just a lot of stitching around. The full instructions are available to you all. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know. This tutorial will be available on Michael's YouTube channel starting tomorrow in about 24 hours from now. So you can go and watch the playback, and then you can print out the instructions. They'll have them linked in the description for you all to be able to follow along with us there. And we can't wait to see your finished applique beach towels. I hope you, if you don't try this design, that you try a new one and one that you create like we had mentioned earlier. And I can't wait to see what you make. Don't forget to use the hashtag #SingerSewing and hashtag #MakeItWithMichaels and Michael's classes so that we can see your finished projects. And until the next class, I'll see you then. Bye, guys.